So what is an art therapy? Art therapy is the mental health process in which art-making materials and techniques are used in the treatment to be able to promote the sense of self. Through the process of art making, with an art therapist, one can increase self-awareness, cope up with stress and traumatic experiences, develop motor skills, and enhance cognitive abilities. What is the difference between a traditional art class from an art therapy? So a traditional art class have a healthy and well-adjusted individuals being the students. The program goal in an art class is to impart and teach knowledge and skills to the students about arts, as well as to make pieces and to teach them how to use the art materials. On arts therapy, on the other hand, is more on a clinical aspect. It is the process in which patients who are suffering from emotional and behavioral difficulties that prevent them to function well are being treated by using the art media. It is known that the patients with these conditions are afraid of showing and revealing themselves through arts. In this case, the art therapy would focus on creating an environment where an individual begins to trust the space and the therapist to begin expressing his mind. Who can be the patients for art therapy? As mentioned earlier, art therapy is an effective treatment for people who are suffering from developmental, medical, emotional, educational, social, and psychological impairment. More specifically, individuals who benefit from art therapy include those who have survived a trauma resulting from a combat abuse, and natural disasters, persons with adverse physical health conditions such as cancer, traumatic brain injury, and other brain damage. Furthermore, persons with autism, dementia, depression, and other disorders can be treated as well. They are well-trained individuals that use visual art media to help people who may struggle to communicate verbally and to expose their feelings and confront difficult emotional issues. They may also be known as an art psychotherapist. Becoming an art therapist. In other countries, there are certain qualifications in order for an individual to become an art therapist. One of which is that an individual must first be registered with the Health and Care Professions Council or the HCPC. The individual who is aspiring to be registered with the HCPC must first successfully complete an approved postgraduate qualification in an art therapy. So courses here take 2 years for full-time and 3 years for part-time. In
In the country, which is the Philippines, art therapy degree can now be earned online. Many online therapy programs are designed to prepare the students to take the Licensed Professional Council or the LPC and Registered Art Therapist or the ATR exam. For the degree requirements, online art therapy master's programs generally insist on a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution of higher education. A minimum GPA may also be necessary along with these items: reference letters, a writing sample, a link to an online portfolio of the applicant's artwork, psychology credits at the graduate or undergraduate level, studio arts credits at the graduate or undergraduate level, and a personal interview. Used by the therapist in order to evaluate emotional, cognitive, and developmental states of the mind of an individual. This is used as a psychological test that uses arts in assessing different types of mental functioning. In 1906, the first drawing assessment for psychological purposes was created by the German psychiatrist Fritz Mohr. The Draw-A-Man test, which measures the intelligence of a child, was also created in 1962 by Florence Goodenough. The key to interpreting the Draw-A-Man test was that the more details a child is incorporated into his drawing, the more intelligent he was. And in 1940, several psychiatric arts assessments were invented and used until now.
The Diagnostic Drawing Series, or the DDS, is a three-picture art interview designed by Barry M. Cohen and Barbara Lesowitz in 1982. It is one of the most commonly taught art-based assessments, and with more than 60 DDS studies to date, it is the most researched art therapy tool worldwide. Administrators also pay attention to the behaviors and behavioral changes of the test taker. The DDS is designed to be administered to people aged 13 and over, but there are versions that are geared toward the assessments of the children. The assessment is administered at a table. The subject is given flat-sided chalk pastels or paints and 18 by 24-inch white drawing paper. Research on the DDS uses criteria that includes the following: color, enclosure, line length, space usage, integration, movement, and placement on the page. The DDS has a drawing archive for reference. Cohen provided a quantifiable assessment for art therapists to use around the world. The test protocol attempts to control for the influence of medications and pharmaceutical confounding factors. The DDS is considered to be a reliable and valid assessment tool, and evidence to continue to accrue to support this. In general, projective tests tend to be much more unreliable than objective tests. Training in the Diagnostic Drawing Series increases administrators' ability to apply research findings to the appropriate assessments of the subject. The House 3-Person Test, or the HTP, is a projective test designed to measure aspects of a person's personality. The test can also be used to assess brain damage and general mental health functioning. By virtue of being a projective test, the results of the HTP are subjected and open to interpretation by the administrator of the exam. HTP was designed by John Buck and was originally based on the good enough scale of intellectual functioning. HTP is given to persons above the age of 3 and takes approximately 150 minutes to complete based on the person's level of mental functioning. During the first phase, the test taker is asked to draw the house, tree, and the person, and the test giver asks questions each picture. There are 60 questions originally designed by Bob, but art therapists and brain test administrators can also design their own questions or ask follow-up questions. This phase is done with a crayon. During the second phase of HTP, the test taker draws the same The quantitative measure of intelligence for the house tree person has been shown to highly correlate with the WAIS or the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale and other well-established intelligence tests. The subjective analysis of the test taker's responses and drawings aims to make inferences of personality traits and past experiences. The subjective nature of this aspect of the HTP, as with other qualitative tests, has little empirical evidence to support its reliability and validity. This test, however, is still considered an accurate measure of brain damage and used in the assessment of schizophrenic patients also suffering from brain damage.
So the third art-based assessment is the road drawing test. In this drawing assessment and therapeutic intervention, the patient is asked to draw a road. This is a projective assessment used to create a graphic representation of the person's road life. So guys, beside me are the examples of the mandalas. So what is a mandala? So we have a description here that mandala is a Sanskrit word meaning circle and it represents the cosmos. So it is an ancient symbol. The mandala is a metaphor of the universe, the wheel of life, as well as the cycles of lives. So these mandalas are also used as an art-based assessment. The Mandala Assessment Research Instrument, which are also called as the MARI. This test is based on the belief of Joan Kellogg, who sees a recurring correlation between the images, patterns, and shapes in the mandalas. This test assesses and gives clues to a person's psychological progressions and their current psychological conditions. The mandala originates in Buddhism, and its connection with spirituality helps us to see links with transpersonal art. Go. In this assessment, a person is asked to select a card from a deck with different mandalas and then must choose a color from a set of colored cards. The person is then asked to draw a mandala from the card they choose with an oil pastel and color of their choice. The artist is then asked to explain if there are meant or any meanings, experiences, or related information to the mandala they drew.